Hello and welcome back to our online course, Building Cost Estimation Simplified. In the previous videos, we have seen the methods of measurement of various items in a building. And in this video lesson, we will familiarize ourselves with a solved exercise as to how to take measurements of various items in a building. The lesson objectives. In this video lesson, we will learn how to take measurements of a room. For this, we have a simple room given. It is of dimensions, outer dimensions 8.2 meters and 4.2 meters respectively. The length of the room is 8.2 meters, outer wall to outer wall, and the width of the room is 4.2 meters, outer wall to outer wall. There are two doors in the room on opposite walls. They are both of similar types, and they are called D1. And there are four windows, two on opposite walls, W1, W1, and two on the same wall. Again, these are also W1. They are of the same type. Further, we have taken sections at AA and BB. The sections at AA and BB are shown here. They represent the cross-section of the wall up till the foundation of this room. So we have a detailed drawing of the plan of the room and the section of the room. We have the section taken at about the middle of the room, and the section XX is given on the right side. In this plan, in this detailed drawing, we have detailed dimensions of the room, in which it shows that the width of the windows, all the windows, the width of each window is 1 meter each. The dimensions of the doors are also given. The dimensions of the doors are also, the width of the doors are also 1 meter each. We also see that there is a dotted line going around the room, and this represents a part of the room that is not visible in the plan. So this represents the extension of the roof slab, the projection of this roof slab. The dotted line indicates that it is not seen in the plan, it is hidden in the plan, but it exists above the level at which the plan is cut. So the dotted line represents the extension of the roof slab. Now when we come to the section, we get the idea of the height of the building and the height of the various windows and doors. These are also information that we get from the section. We look into detail of the plan of the room. We have the external dimensions of the room at 8.2 meters and 4.2 meters respectively. And we also have the width of the brick wall. This is 0.2 meters. And so this is a unit. This is an information that will come handy to us when we get along with the estimation of the quantities of the room. And we have the XX as a cross section, which we had referred to in the previous slide. Now let's look at the elevation of the room. We have two elevations of the room, the front elevation, the right side elevation. Those have been given. Now let's look at the front elevation first. We first have the ground level, and then we have a plinth level, which is at a level of 0.6 meters or 60 centimeters. So this is where the plinth of the building ends. Then we have the height of the room, which is the height of the building is totally 3.6 meters. But when we look at it from the top of the plinth level to the top of the terrace level, this is 3 meters. And the projection, the dotted line that we referred to in the plan, is 0.1 meters, which is 10 centimeters. So this is the projection of the roof slab. Again, there is a 0.1 projection on this side too. The thickness of the roof slab is also 0.1 meters. Now we look at the doors and windows. The details of the doors and windows are given in the elevation. We'll first look at the door. The door is, we don't have the specification of the door as to what material it is made from, but we have the dimensions of the door frame. It's 75 mm by 100 mm frame. And we have the height of the door. The height of the door is given as from the floor level is the height of the door opening is 2.13 meters. The width of the opening of the door is 1 meter, and the shutter size is 0.85 meters. The vertical dimension of the shutter is 2.05 meters, as we can see in this dimension given here. Now, when we look at the windows, the opening of the window, the vertical dimension is 1.38 meters, and the horizontal dimension is 1 meter. That's the case with the other window. But when we look at the other window, we find two other information available. One is the width of the shutter, which is in between the frame, it is 0.85 meters, and the vertical dimension of the shutter is 1.28 meters. Remember, the outer dimension, the vertical dimension is 1.38, which is the opening of the window, and the shutter size is 1.28 meters. Now we look at, there is one more information available from the drawing, that is the lintel band that goes above both the windows and also the door. Now the lintel band width is 1.3 meters. That's the same for all the three openings. The lintel band is a member that spans openings. It's cast of concrete in this case, and the dimensions are 1.3 meters each for each of the opening. Now the width of the thickness of the lintel band is 0.1 meters, as we can see here. So that's the information that is available from the front elevation drawing. Now we look at the right side elevation of the drawing. Again, we have one window on the side. We have all the information that is available in the other drawing over here also. This gives us the dimension of the window, and also the lintel band that is above it. Now we look into the details of the section of the drawing, and so we'll start from the ground level. So we have round earth above the ground level. Above that we have 150 mm sand filling, as in this is after we construct the plinth, the area inside is filled with earth first. The hash lines represent the round earth, and above that we have 150 mm of sand filling, which is 15 centimeters of sand filling, and then above that we have 75 mm of cement concrete in 1:3:6. And on the side we can see the plinth level. This is at 60 meters. This is above it's not 60 meters, it's 0.6 meters, which is 60 centimeters, and it is 60 centimeters above the ground level. That's where the plinth level comes. We see a hashed, there's a gray thick line here. We will, it's called DPC. It is the damp proof course. We will refer to it in detail in our the section of the foundation. Then we come up, this is the floor level, and this we have the specification as, it's a 38 mm CC flooring. It's a 38 mm cement concrete flooring. Then we come up to the level above. We have the sill level at 0.7 meters, which is that's where the window opening, where the level at which the window rests. That's at 75 centimeters or 0.75 meters. The rest of the dimensions are the same as what we have seen in the rest of the dimensions. I mean, the dimensions of the doors and the windows have been discussed in the previous slides. Now, one important information that we have from this drawing is the internal clear height of the room from the floor level. So we have we see the dimension 2.9 meters, which is from the bottom of the roof slab to the top of the floor level. That's 2.9 meters. Then we have the terrace level. We also have the outer dimension of the room, which is 8.4 meters. We have seen this in the plan also. We have the specification of the RCC slab. It says it is 100 mm thick, which is a 10 centimeters thick roof slab. So these are the information that we get from the section drawing. This is an image of the section and the plant kept corresponding to each other so that we get an idea of how they are placed. So we have this drawing here. We have discussed these in the previous slide, so we move on to the next one. Okay, now we have the section at AA and BB. Let's go back and see where AA and BB are. So this is AA and BB. It's a typical section, which means this is uniform around the building. So at the section is the wall of the room that we have seen extends down, and then it goes down to a height of 1.2 meters below the ground level. So we'll see how it's a simple footing foundation, so that it's nothing complicated, because this is an introductory exercise. We wanted it to be as easy as possible for your understanding. So we have, first of all, we have a footing here, which is the specification is given cement concrete 1:5:10. And because we're taking the measurements of the item, we are very particular, or we're very interested in knowing the dimensions. So we see that the footing has a dimension of 0.75 meters, and the footing has a height of 0.15 meters. So the cement concrete footing has a dimension of 0.75 meters width and 0.5 meters thickness. What about the length? Well, we know that the length of the foundation or the footing would be across the room. If we can imagine this extending to both the sides, this goes around the room. So, which means the length of this footing would be the length of the perimeter of the room. Next, we come to the brick footing above the concrete foundation. The footing of the foundation, we have a brickwork, and the dimensions of it is also given. It's 0.140 meters, which is 40 centimeters, and the height is 15 centimeters. Above that, there is one more step. With this is of width 30 centimeters or 0.3 meters, and again the height is 15 meters. Now, the next important dimension for us is the width of the brickwork. It's 0.2 meters. That's the width of the brickwork, which we have seen in the which we have discussed in the previous slides also. There's another specification given here that the brickwork is in cement CM 1:6, which is brickwork is in cement mortar 1:6. And this goes up, this this width of 0.2 meters goes up to the roof slab. So that is this is the 20 centimeter width, or the 0.2 meters width is maintained up to the roof slab. We have a ground line here, a ground line on this side also. The ground line is shown with hatches, and so this represents a ground line. So there are two dimensions important here on with reference to the ground level. One is a 0.6 meters height where the plinth is, and there is a 1.2 meters depth at which is the depth of the foundation. So we know that the plinth is at the level of 0.6 meters. So along at the plinth level is the DPC, the damp proof course that we have. Now, what happens in the area between the ground level and the plinth level? That is what we are going to look at. First of all, right above the ground level, we have rammed earth. So, which is backfilling takes place. We fill the earth and then we ram it at different layers. This is something that we have referred to in the previous slides. And so this is brought to a level of 0.38 meters. So we have earth filling in this area. So that's the first layer right above the ground level. And above that, we have one more layer of sand filling, which is right after the rammed earth. We have one more layer of sand filling, which is of 150 mm thickness. And above the sand filling layer, we have one more layer of cement concrete that is 75 mm thickness, and it is in the ratio 1:3:6. And above this 75 mm CC 1:3:6, we have a 38 mm CC flooring right above it. So these are the dimensions that we will familiarize ourselves, and then now we look at how to take the quantities based on the information available. From the drawings that we have, and we have the following information available. The outer dimensions of the room are 8.2 meters and 4.2 meters. The inner dimensions of the room, or if you're looking at the area of the room, is equal to the inner length into the inner width, which is equal to 7.8 meters by 3.8 meters. Let's see how we got these dimensions. Inner dimension length is 8.2 meters, which is the outer length, minus 0.2 plus 0.2. This is this is the width of the wall, and because there are two walls, we have 8.2 minus 0.2 minus 0.2, which is 7.8 meters. The inner dimension width is 4.2. We saw that it was 4.2, and again, because this 4.2 is the outer dimension, the width of the outer wall, in order to find the inner width of the room, we subtract the dimensions of the wall 2 times from the outer width of the room. So it becomes 4.2 minus 0.2 plus 0.2, which is 3.8 meters. So the external perimeter of the room would be the we have the dimensions as 8.2 meters by 4.2 meters. So we have 8.2 plus 4.2 plus 8.2 plus 4.2, which is 24.8 meters. Similarly, the internal perimeter of the room would be twice the sum of 7.8 and 3.8, because it is the length plus breadth plus length plus breadth. So we have 7.8 plus 3.8 plus 7.8 plus 3.8, which is 23.2 meters. Now, another information that is available to us is that the top of the slab from the plinth level is 3 meters, and we are meaning the roof slab here. The thickness of the roof slab is 0.1 meters. The inner height of the room is 2.9 meters, and the width of the wall is 0.2 meters. The depth of the foundation is 1.2 meters. We made a correction in the line which represents thickness of roof slab. The repeated line has been removed from this slide. Now let's look at how to take the quantities from the information that is available. First of all, we look at excavation, earthwork in excavation. Earthwork in excavation in foundation trenches. So the excavation is done for the foundation, and the foundation runs below the wall. So when we look for the dimensions for the excavation, we're basically looking at the perimeter of the room, the outer perimeter of the room. So we have it as 8.2. Here we have 8.2, and then we have 4.2, which is the outer width of the room. We have it the perimeter as 24.8, which is 8.2 plus 4.2 multiplied 2 times. Then we have 24.8. So the length is 24.8, which is the foundation runs around the perimeter of the room, and the breadth of the foundation. For this, we will have to look at the section of the foundation. So we have the section of the foundation here. We are looking at finding out the quantities for excavation of earth, and so we find that the widest part of the foundation is at the footing, where is the lowest portion. That it has got a dimension of 0.75 meter width. So this will be our excavating width. So we have this from the section drawing. Now we'll go back to the next item. Before that, we also have to look at the depth of the depth of the excavation. And so this is the ground level. Excavation is the excavation of earthwork. So to what depth are we going to excavate? So that can be also got from the section drawing, which is 1.2 meters. So we get two information from this drawing, from the section of the foundation, which is the width of the foundation, which becomes the width of the excavated area, and also the depth to which we have to excavate, which is 1.2 meters. So these information we carry on to our Excel sheet. So for the earthwork excavation, we have 24.8 as the length, and the 0.75 which we took from the section drawing, which is the breadth of the excavation, and the height is 1.2 meters. So this is the information that we carried on from the drawings. Now we look at cement concrete. This is the next item. Cement concrete 1:5:10 in foundation. The unit of measurement is cubic meters. And let's look at the section drawing to have more clarity on this. So this is the cement concrete 1:5:10 that we were talking in the Excel sheet. So this item has to find out the dimensions. Again, we have the width as 0.75 meters and the thickness as 0.15 meters. So these are two dimensions that we get, and since this is a footing, this is a foundation, this runs along the perimeter of the building. So the length, total length would be again the perimeter of the walls, the outer dimensions. That would be the length of this item. So cement concrete 1:5:10. Let's look at how the quantities are taken in the quantity sheet. So cement concrete 1:5:10. The length is the perimeter of the room, and the breadth is 0.75 meter, which is the breadth of the footing, and the height is 0.15 meter. Again, this is an information that we got from the foundation, the section of the foundation. Now, the next item that we are looking at is damp-proof course, the DPC. Let's look at the DPC here. Again, DPC is a small layer of chemical which is sprayed onto the below the brickwork. I mean, in fact, in here over because brickwork is extending up to the foundation, we spray it at the level of we apply it at the level of plinth. So let's see what are the dimensions of this item. So because this is DPC or damp-proof course runs along the perimeter of the wall, again the same dimensions that we have been following in the past, in the previous two items, that will be continued here. It is going to be around the building. So the perimeter of the building would be the length of this quantity. So it is 24.8. And 0.2 is the breadth of the thickness, the width of the wall. We have this dimension here, 0.2 meters. So that is the wall thickness. So the breadth of this item is 0.2 meters. So we get that also from the section of the foundation drawing. Now the next item is brickwork in foundation and plinth. Brickwork in foundation and plinth and the brickwork that continues into the superstructure are taken as different items. Since we are first going to focus on brickwork in foundation and plinth, it's easier for us because we have the foundation drawing here, and we will first look at the brickwork in foundation and plinth. So because we know that the foundation is running along the building, along the perimeter of the building. So for all these items which is related to the foundation and plinth, the length is the same, which is the perimeter of the room. So 24.8 will continue. Now what remains to see is the other dimension. So we start from the bottom items. First we finish the cement concrete and we move on to the next item. So we have 0.4 and 0.3 as footing. Let's look at a larger drawing for our convenience. Maybe I'll just enlarge this. Yeah, this is better. So we have the dimension as 0.4 meters. So we put in 0.4 meters here. And then we have the height as 0.15. And so we put 0.15 here. So we have one footing, one step of the footing here. And then that is one item that we have covered. The next is, again, we have another step into the footing. So this is 0.3 meters. Again, we know that we are maintaining the length is 24.8, which is the perimeter of the room. And 0.3 meters is the height of that particular step. And then the thickness of the height of it is the breadth of it is 0.3. And the height is 0.15. So we have maintained 0.15. Now the next is we have the portion of the brickwork that remains. The remaining portion is the brickwork that is below the plinth level. So for that, again, we have the same length as we have been following, which is the perimeter, 24.8. Now the breadth is 0.2. This is the thickness of the wall. The width of the wall is 0.2. Now the third dimension is the height. So we have so far covered till this particular height, and what remains for us is from the top of this footing to the top of the plinth level. That is what we need to know. How do we find that measurement? We know that the measurement of the plinth level from the bottom of the footing is 1.6 plus 1.2, which is 1.8. What remains for us to know is the plinth level to the top of the footing, top of the step of the foundation. So for that, how do we measure? We just have to take the entire measurement and then subtract the height of one footing to the second footing and the third one. So how do we do that? We add 1.2 plus 0.6, which is 1.8, and then subtract 0.5 plus 0.5 plus 0.5, which means we are going to subtract 0.45 from 1.8. 1.8 minus 0.45 is 1.35. So we have found the dimension of the brickwork below the plinth level. Now we are going to look at brickwork in the superstructure. To find out about the brickwork in superstructure, we would need one dimension in particular, that is the height of the room. So to what height is the brickwork taken? So we have the plinth level here, and the brick wall goes up to 2.9 meters, and that is the bottom of the slab. The bottom of the slab from the top of the plinth level is 2.9 meters. So this is one dimension that we would need in addition, because we already know the length of the brick work that is going to happen, that is going to be there. So the brickwork is going to be around the building, the perimeter of the room, but the height that we need to take from the section drawing is the 2.9 meter height. So let's look at it in the Excel sheet. So here we have the brickwork in superstructure, which is 24.8, which is the perimeter of the room, outer perimeter. The breadth of the brickwork is 0.2 meters, and which is something that we got from the section drawing. And the height of the room, in the inner height to which the brickwork is taken, is 2.9 meters. So for the next, the continuing items, we will be making another video. We will come back to it in the next video. We'll just summarize what we have studied in this particular video.